What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video, and today we are going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe's comments on Joe Judge, on Joe Judge's now kind of working habits and kind of the standard that he's setting for the New York Giants this season. If you guys haven't heard, Joe Judge has said that he is now going to be making the players and assistant coaches run laps for making mistakes. You know, it should be very similar and very familiar for Giants fans or Giants media or Giants players or the Giants organization themselves, because we've had some tough coaches in the past. You look at most recently Tom Coughlin. I mean, still to this day, they have the clock turned 10 minutes behind there in the Giants facilities because of Tom Coughlin. He left a legacy in there as far as discipline and, you know, a strict work ethic. Trying to establish that over there. And Bill Parcells as well. Bill Parcells was a guy that people hated playing for, but he was so great at his job. And Tom Coughlin as well. Everybody hated, you look at Michael Strahan, he hated playing for Tom Coughlin. He was the first person to tell you that. So, these coaches were tough. And so Joe Judge seems to be the next guy up, and everybody's thinking that, I believe there was a player that also commented on Shannon Sharpe's Twitter saying there's only one Bill Belichick, and that was, I believe, Benjamin Watson, who has spent some time with New England. I believe he's still with New England. He's saying there could be only one Bill Belichick. And, while that is true, it doesn't mean that there is only one Bill Belichick's mindset out there. Joe Judge, you could see it from, the way he presents himself, the way he, holds his press conference, the way he hired his coaching staff, the way, he wants things set up. You can tell that this is something that he would do. He's not just trying to copycat Bill Belichick and what he does. Shannon Sharpe did say that this wasn't going to end well. And let me get into the specifics now, what I have a problem with and what I necessarily don't have a problem with. Now, I get it for the most part. The Giants community, are embracing this with Joe Judge, but they're not really thinking about it too much. But I'll explain it in here right now. I don't mind whatsoever the players being disciplined. In fact, running laps should be nothing to these players. If you make a mistake and you're out here running laps, I mean, that's nothing. There are plenty worse punishments out there, especially that goes on in high school football that you have to do, especially when in regards to the weight room as well, that you have to do to make back your mistakes and to pay for your mistakes. I mean, running laps is a cakewalk, what should be to these NFL players. They're just a little spoiled. So I love, Sterling Shepard said it himself. We look at this quote from Sterling Shepard, who is the longest tenured New York Giant. I mentioned that a couple videos ago as well. This man was drafted in 2016. Let's just keep that in mind. If that's what he has in store for us, running laps for mistakes, just don't make mistakes, said wide receiver Sterling Shepard, the longest tenured Giant. That's a simple way to get out of doing that. Yeah, the last time I did it was probably in middle school, but I'm embracing the change and I'm all for it. So these players, for the most part, they're all for it, okay? I would be as well. I want a structure. If I'm a player for a team, I want to know that there's a structure in place to help not only myself, but the players around me learn and grow and develop. Nothing can build if there's no structure, if there's no foundation. You have to have a strong foundation in order for you to keep building on that ground, right? So I'm all for the players. My only gripe, my only problem is the assistant coaches. I don't understand, and I'm gonna get a little relative with you guys because I did spend some time as a volunteer coach a couple of years ago, and I'll share my experience in just a second. But the assistant coaches, I don't understand how Joe Judge is going to have the same punishment go for the players as the coaches. When you do that, you're not differentiating the authority, you're not differentiating their level of respect, you're not differentiating the hierarchy that's put in place, and on top of that, you're gonna have to hold that for yourself. If you're gonna apply that to the assistant coaches, I suggest you apply that when you make your own mistakes. If you're out there running laps, now that's something I'll be on board of. If Joe Judge was out there when he made a mistake, when he did something wrong, where he had his mind in a different place, and he wound up being, wrong for whatever reason, for whatever it is, that he's out there running laps with the players, with the assistant coaches. That's a guy that's a leader more than, authoritative figure. So, that's something I would definitely embrace. But you can't just say, hey, I'm the guy in charge. If you make a mistake, I don't care if you're a player or assistant coach, you're doing the same level of punishment. I don't see how that's going to be beneficial as far as the level of respect goes in the facility. Just think about how it would go. Just think about Daniel Jones throws an interception and Jason Garrett calls a terrible play on a third down and 1. They decide to throw it deep, right? And Jason Garrett is put in the wrong there, and Joe Judge in practice said, you know what, Jason, I'm tired of your crap. I can't believe you just did that. Go run a lap. Daniel, you too. What does that look like? That looks like, hey, Jason Garrett is just as belittled and just as important. It just has as much authoritative power as Daniel Jones is, a second-year player in the NFL. There is a level of respect that needs to be maintained when you're organizing a team like this. And I'll go to my sort of experience. I was a volunteer coach for a city football team. It wasn't a school, it was like a city type thing, and I volunteered there, and there was this one point in practice, we were doing our stretches, and we were just doing our final practices and our final stretches and stuff like that, and, the CEO comes in. Not the head coach. He plays a part in the coaching, but he's not really in charge of the team per se. He owns the team, basically. So the CEO was out there, and, he was out there, monitoring everybody. And he sees me out there, and I guess he just thought it was the best way to pick on me because I'm the short guy, but I was a coach. And I'm out there, I'm watching the guys do the stretches, and, everybody's counting along and stuff like that. I'm counting, but I'm just watching the other players, make sure they're doing what they have to do. And the CEO calls me out in front of everybody. It's a ring of players. We're talking from youngins to guys just about to hit high school. And he calls me out, loud as can be. You could hear a pin drop. And he calls me out and said, hey, why are you not yelling? Why are you not getting these guys together? All this stuff. Just yelling at me, just in my face, while I'm sitting here in a ring of other players. Okay? I'm being reprimanded and disciplined out there in front of the players. Now, could you imagine how things turned out afterward? There's a level of respect lost when that happens. It's people aren't thinking about it in a certain way. A player is not going to respect you if that person is treated the same way that they are. You have to have that, you have to demand that respect. You have to be shown that respect. It would have been different if the CEO or whoever it would have been to pull me aside and then tell me what's going on, and things would be fine. But things were never the same after that. I can guarantee you, they just weren't the same after that. And that's one of the experiences that I really just hate thinking about, because it's not something you really want to put out there. And whether you like it or not, even though they're younger players, it is embarrassing. It's not something you want to see. But I'm not here saying that these assistant coaches should be spoiled or be soft. But like I said, there's a level of things. There's a hierarchy of authoritative power that should be taking place and should be maintained. I think the assistant coaches deserve that respect, and there's not a way that those assistant coaches are going to demand that respect and receive that respect from the players if they're being disciplined the same exact way, if you guys catch my drift. So if like I said, I bring back to the other example I said, if Jason Garrett calls a terrible play in practice on a certain situation, it's just a stupid play, right? And Daniel Jones wound up throwing an interception on that play. So Jason Garrett's going to be reprimanded the same way Daniel Jones is, and you're going to see Jason Garrett, who's been a head coach in the NFL for like 10 years and had 20 plus years in experience in the NFL, going to be running laps next to a second year quarterback who's still learning the ropes. That's not how you maintain respect. That's not how you maintain a proper hierarchy. I don't like that too much, but I like the players. I don't care what they do. They're the grunts, right? They're the guys out there that you need to make them work hard, because at the end of the day, they're the one executing everything else. So they're the workers right there. So I don't mind putting them through under a little pressure, under a little stress, under a little frustration. That's how you build those players up. But you just can't have that happen to guys who have already gotten their respect in the NFL. You know, you can't belittle a guy the same way you're going to belittle a player. So that's all I got to say, guys. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't care, okay? I don't care. I'm not here to please anybody. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!